down to San
Exactly,
Diego. Okay.
exactly. And just to go back to time, you asked about time. If we can break ground 2011, the full first phase should be finished, completed by 2020. But we can open a segment, Anaheim to Los Angeles, hypothetically, probably by 2014, 2015 for revenue service. Same thing with San Francisco to San Jose.
Well, I remember in one of the maybe it wasn't preliminary, but some of the sketches of where these things would stop, there was a stop that just said generically East San Gabriel Valley. Now that's the portion of LA County that I represent, so is that still in the mix? Is that a potential?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's where the population is.
Right.
People would say to me, again as an example, well, of course you're going to come up the coast. No, we're not going to come up the coast.
That's not where the population growth is.
Because the population growth is over in the valley, and it's over in eastern Los Angeles County. It's around Palmdale. It's around Lancaster.
Right.
And besides that, air service in the Central Valley is terrible.
Right. Yeah, they just recently shut a short commuter line out of Bakersfield, so legislators have come out of that area. It's next to impossible to drive it.
The valley needs it, and unemployment is so high in the valley. It's what, about 12% in some parts of the valley.
And yet the way we see population growth, that is the area where the growth will occur in the state in the future.
Sure.
We're already built out in the coastal areas.
You could live in Fresno and be in San Jose in 65 minutes. Now the jobs, Silicon Valley and the IT jobs, are in San Jose or around Santa Clara County. But it could work the other way, too. That could make it attractive for businesses to locate in and around Fresno because you can draw people from higher population areas like the Bay Area in 65 minutes. And that is a doable commute time to take.
Now, some have been concerned, and obviously when you run a campaign, as you did on the bonds, you get those that are for it and those that are against it. Well, those are for it won, and so we're moving forward on this thing. And yet there's still questions they raise that maybe you could just address that for people might still have a question. One of them was, well, what does this do to the airlines? I mean, they're doing it for us free already. So why do we need a high-speed rail to compete with the already successful airlines?
That's a interesting question because it gives me a chance to make a couple of other points.
Absolutely, and please, go ahead.
Traditionally and historically, airlines have fought high-speed rail in the United States. They killed it in Texas. In fact, one in particular, I don't know if I should name names, but it's Southwest. I'll name names. Today, Southwest is neutral, and to the contrary, in Texas, Continental Airlines, American Airlines, both headquartered in Fort Worth and Houston, respectively, support the Texas high-speed rail endeavor. Why? Because as Robert Crandall, the CEO of American Airlines, observed in The Economist last July, these short hauls are not profitable for the airlines. And as a matter of fact, in the UK, the United Kingdom, Virgin Airlines runs about 20 rail lines. And my hope is that when we get down to operations, that we'll find Virgin Airlines bidding to be the operator, and that'll motivate Southwest Airlines as well. What's happening in Spain, for example, Spain is going to be the #1 country in the world. Next year, they're going to have 1,900 plus or minus miles in high-speed rail. And the airline traffic, those short hauls, has indeed decreased. High-speed rail is carrying now upwards of 50–60% of the travelers between Madrid and Barcelona. And it evolves. The airlines want us on the long 1,000-mile and more trips. These short hauls, the 200, 300 miles, 400 miles, even LA to Anaheim, 460 miles, is better for high-speed rail in the long run.
Well, LA to Anaheim's not 460 miles.
No, I said LA to Anaheim. I meant San Francisco.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I transplanted myself. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. We're just checking to see if the people are paying attention out there. Well, you talked about the ridership in Spain and how that is still growing. How do you see the ridership here? How many people will it take to make this break even, or I don't think profitable is the right thing when you're talking public
Well,
transportation, but
here-
to fit the business model, I guess.
Yeah,
is-
but you base these business models on the best people you can find. The ridership for us has been done twice, once about 7, 8 years ago by Charles Rivers Associates, more recently about a year and a half ago by Cambridge Systematics. They're the best you can hire, and you got to go with them. And what they have forecasted is upwards of 100 million rides a year. The second question is, when do you break even? At about 50 million rides a year.
Well, that's good.
And the forecast is that by 2030, the gross will be about $3,300,000,000. The operating costs will be about $2.2 billion, $2,200,000,000, and you'll have what they call net operating revenue of over $1 billion. And of course, that goes towards the payback of the general obligation bonds of the state of California and the return on investment for private capital. And it's based not just on California and the number of Californians, which would be about 50 million by 2030, but also the Japanese, the Spanish, and the French experience.
Well, and